So here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, we're back with Jewish astrology, a cosmic science, by the great scholar here, Reb Yaakov Kronenberg, not a rabbi, who's an astrologer, but a person with a tremendous knowledge of Kabbalah, the Kabbalah of the Ruach Kodesh. He's just gone through, and he continues to go through, the concept of 12, which are stated in other places and here as well, as the permutations of the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, which has to be examined a little bit. 4 letters can make 24 permutations, and the Kabbalists say that since the letter Hey is repeated twice in Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, K meaning, for those who don't know, meaning a Hey, so therefore we only use 3 of the letters. 3 of the letters then are going to be Yud, Vav, and K, which can be made into spelling the word Tal, or 39, and there's different kind of things, because the Yud, Vav, and K is a number 21. That's the best thing to say. 21 is Akya, refers to an aspect, or refers to Bina. But what that all means is difficult to understand in this context. So let me not go on too much. I'm going along too much. And let me open this up and see what we can gather from it. So just to get started and try to understand, he is talking about, what Reb Yaakov is talking about here is the Sefer called the SEFER YETZIRAH, the Book of Creation, and it really goes through in a very simple way. Simple, so simple that it's you have the answer in front of you, but you've got to see what it means. That's the whole big thing with the Torah. The Torah gives you the answers ahead of time, but you have to see how they apply. And the SEFER YETZIRAH deals with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, and it groups them into 3 groups. Elementary levels, there are 3 of them. There are 3 groups, but written by, this is written by Avraham Avinu. The elemental levels, which are 3, the 7 double letters, and the 12 simple letters. This is what it says. It says that the world was created using letters. So if that's not said, that's the idea. Parts of letters, different letters can change. You have to know the Hebrew alphabet to see how it is can change. But we saw up here that as far as the seasons are concerned, so we get down there where we could see it again. And this is where Aries comes in, right here at Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, but there are other permutations of God's name. Well, when you're talking about that, then you're talking about also different combinations of letters. And letters, he's telling us over here, I guess, are fundamental to the creation of the world, and they can be grouped into 3 categories. And he names pretty much what the letters are. So he says the elemental levels, the 7 double letters and the 12 simple letters, the 3 elemental levels are called Shin, Mem, and Aleph. Now by themselves they make the word Shema, which means perhaps, and represent water, air, and fire. So he says the SEFER YETZIRAH does not include the 4th element, which is earth. Now that's 3 of the letters. Water, air, fire, but earth is not mentioned. The 7 letters are Taf, Resh, Pei, Kaf, Daled, Gimel, and Bet. These are the 7 letters, and they are the letters of their double letters. So these represent the 7, which the rabbis call the Kofei Lechet, the orbiting planets that are around our sun, which is Sun, Jupiter, and Saturn, Jupiter. That's going backwards. And finally the moon and the sun, who are summarized the acronym where they're called by their Hebrew letters Bagad Kafrat. So they're called doubles, he said, because they can be pronounced in 2 ways. So we said that. Now where we're at right now, we're going to skip a little bit and try to get some background on this. Then you have 12 simple letters. So the simple letters can't be pronounced doubles. They can only be pronounced one way. And he said that the Ramak later on, the Ramak is going to tell us that there's a way to understand simple letters. But here we're going to go down to a lower level on this page. And let me see if I can get it lined up. 12 simple letters, and he mentions them here now, saying Amal Kof Tzadi Ayin Samach, Nun, Lamed, Yud, Tes, Ches, Zayin, Vav, and K. Now, these are in reverse order, because we read in Hebrew right to the left. And here's one of the last letters in the Hebrew alphabet, followed by the letter behind it, and then they move along in sequence down to the final letter, Hey. And he says, so for our background, we have to know that they represent speech, thought, moon, sight, hearing, action, coition, smell, sleep, anger, taste, and laughter. So their foundations are the 12 diagonal boundaries, the east upper boundary, and he goes like this. You're looking, I think he didn't mention, but you're looking at a cube. So there is a concept brought by a physicist, Aryeh Kaplan, a tremendous Kabbalist, referring to it as a hypercube. He wrote in English, and he refers to it as a hypercube. So it has these different 12 boundaries. There are 12 letters there. And they have 12 diagonal boundaries that cut through them. I don't have a drawing of it. Maybe I'll find it. We'll see. I don't think so, though. I don't think it's a real drawing. So then he goes to, he has this idea that we have to get a background on, because what I'm going to try to do is get through this most difficult part. It's a very, very difficult part here. Already he's made it tremendously complicated. We have these 3 different kinds of letters. The universe is made out of letters, according to this. And the different combinations of them, they have different powers. Now, the Sefer Yetzirah teaches the principle of 3 worlds which work at all times. These are parallel to each other and parallel to each other. In other words, they're kind of like paired or lined up together. He says, and are all interconnected. Whatever happens in one of these worlds happens in the others at the same time. So the 12 letters that we're just talking about, which are the simple letters, work in the Olam space world, which I call the ground. That's what we see in front of us. Work in the Olam space world by creating 12 constellations. Now, during the daytime, we're not aware, and really city people are not aware of what's going on in the sky at nighttime particularly, because it's obscured by the city lights and the normal way of living that we live today. But in fact, these constellations are moving around us, and they never stop. So, but they are the background to our world. We are sort of like, so to speak, the figure, and behind us, let's say, where we can be relative to the sky, we're something much more down to earth. We are earth. So he says that's Olam. Then there's another concept which is called Shana time. Now, the reason why I'm going over this again is because I'm trying to figure out how I can get back in to going through each one of the different letters and how they work. Shana time means change. Things continue to move. The world is turning at 1,000 miles an hour, and every time it completes a revolution, we're in something completely and totally new, which is actually the revolutions, because every hour is composed of minutes, which is 60 minutes. It's not an accident that it's a 60, or begins with the letter 6, and then there's 60 seconds within all of that. All of these things have to do with Shana time. Now, then they had created the 12 months and the work on the Nefesh, human soul. The last person is called Nefesh. That is, we can be conscious of this, and we can direct ourselves towards it. Now, that's all that I really want to say here, because I want to get into seeing if there's anything understandable about how this particular bit of phraseology. Now, we have the concept again of Olam, which means the background, the world, the stage in which we live. We have Shana, which means that it's constantly changing. It's not permanent. And then the last one is Nefesh, is that we have the ability to direct ourselves towards it intellectually and emotionally or spiritually. So now he says like this: he made the letter Vav as the king over thought. Now, what is the Vav has to do with thought? I don't know. Vav is like a tube. Maybe things move through it. I'm not sure. And he bound a crown to it. He made it so that it had a top. It had a beginning. and that is the place of the source of its energy, and he combined one with another, which I'm not sure what this means. Maybe he means different parts of letters, and with them he formed Taurus in the universe. He made the second month of the astrological year, or the Jewish year, which is the month of Iyar, in the year, and also it pertains to the right kidney in the soul, male and female. So it's up to the listener to find this, the exact tie-ups with this. I can't get it yet. So, but he means to say, though, that each of the letters actually is condensed, I guess that's what you could say, into an anatomical part, because he said there are 12 functional, basic anatomical parts to the human being. That's back to the number 12 again. He made the letter Zion as the king over motion. So Zion is Zuz, is two Z's, the two Zions together, makes the word move. And he bound a crown to it. Again, it had a beginning and an end. It had some top part. And he combined one with another, again, and with them he formed Gemini in the universe. Believe it or not, that it moved into the constellation, a series of stars that form the constellation, which we call in English Gemini. In Hebrew, it's a Hebrew month, which is the month of Sivan, in the year, and the left foot of the soul, male and female. Now he says the left foot of the soul. And when he says the word soul, he tells you also that male and female go together with it. Let's look a little bit more. So he says, so up to now, the Sefer Yetzirah talks about 12 simple letters, in particular the first 3 simple letters, which are Zayin, Vav, and He. And he connects them to the signs, he connects them to the months, and he connects them to internal organs. These first 3 simple letters also correspond to times in the year, which are spring, and the next 3 letters to summer, and then to fall and winter. So I'm just thinking for a second. These 3 simple letters, there's 3 letters here. They correspond to spring. Then he says, and the next to spring. And the next 3 letters, what next 3 letters? I don't know which next he means. Maybe maybe it's not explained well. And the next 3 letters refer to summer and then to fall and winter. But would to say that the 4 letters, I guess, of the 12 have to do with this. Let's go on. Let us go on. He made the letter He, a Ches. Ches, you see what it's built like, right? It's like a top or a cap, or could be, as the king over sight. And he bound a crown to it. Now, what does Ches have to do with sight? The word for a prophet or a seer is a Chozeh, which begins with this letter. But that's all I got on this. I don't see it connected to sight other than this is seeing. And he bound a crown to it. In other words, it became more physical because now it has a top. And he combined one with another. I'm not sure what the combinations are. He brought different aspects of it and found out that there's male and female. And he used them, and he formed Cancer in the universe, Tammuz in the ear, and the right hand, corresponding to it in the soul, and they're male and female. Everything really is male and female. He made the letter Tes as the king over hearing, and he bound the crown to it, and combined one with another, and with them he formed Leo in the universe. Now, just have to think about this. This is now the fifth constellation. This one's called Leo. The Ari, the lion. So he said, let's read it again. Tes is the letter that does this. He made it up and down, and he formed it, and it became Leo. Leo are the series of stars. Av in the year, it's also the time called, in the Hebrew calendar, it's called Av, which is late July and August up to the 22nd, more or less, in the solar calendar. And it also pertains to the left kidney in the soul, male and female. How this works or how you could use it, keep reading. He made the letter Yud as the king over action, and he bound a crown to it, and combined one with another, and with them he formed Virgo in the universe, which is the 6th constellation. It's a time of the year which is the beginning or late summer, Elul in the year, and the left hand in the soul, male and female. So left hand in the soul. He made the letter Yud as the king over coition, and he bound a letter Lamed as the king over coition, and he bound a crown to it and combined one with another, and with them he formed Libra in the universe, which is Tishrei, the month of balance in the year, and the gallbladder in the soul, male and female. So you see there's a slight misprint right here. He made the letter Nun as the king over smell, and he bound a crown to it, and combined one with another, and with them he formed Scorpio in the universe, Cheshvan, which is Halloween time in the year, the intestine in the soul, male and female. He made the letter Samach as the king over sleep, and he bound a crown to it, and he combined one with another, and with them he formed Sagittarius in the universe, Kislev in the year, and the Keva, which is the intestine in the soul, male and female. So how it is, he's saying not only is this bound to the concepts of the figure ground, which is Olam, and found to the changes and so on and forth, that this is really a revolution going along. He says it's also bound to the concept of our organs. Now, how these are life organs. He made the letter Ayin as the king over anger, and he bound a crown to it and combined one with another, and with him he formed Capricorn in the universe. Notice that anger goes with Capricorn. Sleep goes with Sagittarius. It's deep night at that time. So I've said that Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg, I seem to say privately, that Capricorn is the concept of being trapped. As I say, Capricorn wants to get out. And that's why many Capricorns are really deeply involved in Kabbalah, who's seeking the light. That's what little explanation he gave it. He says this Capricorn also reflects Tevet in the year, which is December, Xmas time, and the liver in the soul, male and female. The liver in the soul. It's a difficult concept. He made the Tzadi as the king over taste, and he bound a crown to it and combined one with another, and with them he formed Aquarius in the universe, Shvat in the year. Now we're getting into, say, like end of January, February, which is Aquarius, and the stomach in the soul, male and female. And when I say that, I'm talking about really the concept of the time of the year, which give you an idea, a principle of what's happening in Aquarius. Aquarius, of course, is a spiritual concept and also planets. He made the letter Kuf as the king over laughter, and he bound a crown to it and combined one with another, and with them he formed Pisces in the universe, a door in the year, and the spleen, once again, tied to that. But then, if you're not confused enough, spleen is in the soul. So I guess he's saying from that, he says the concept of these organs actually exists in a level of a reality that is before the physical spleen in the soul, which means in the spiritual world there is such a thing as spleen. That spleen becomes manifest in human beings. And then he says, this is the kicker, he says that male and female. So it's fine if you had just, well, why bring it up? But he says all of them are always doubled. One side is male, one side is female. Try to figure it out. He made them like a trough. He arranged them like a wall, and he set them up like a battle palace, like a castle, I guess he means. So now when we finish here, I'm going to finish this paragraph. And then we'll go to a different idea. So, well, let me just finish. I guess we have to start. No, we'll do that next time. So just as you see that I'm learning and reading with you on the fly. So we just did all 10 paragraphs of chapter 5. And I have to emphasize that every paragraph is very deep, I know, obviously, and conveys many secrets using many methods of concealment. So in other words, to use the power, or to reach, no, that's the wrong word, but to reach the power of the universe, Many secrets using many methods of concealment must be gone through. This book of great wisdom is condensed into a few pages that will take you, like, say, 30 minutes to read. And it describes how God used the Hebrew letters to create the world. So we have to realize that Avram Avinu, that our father, who's the beginning of all the Jewish, what we call the Jewish thought, or the Jewish Torah, condensed all of the principles and creations in this very short book. So everything he wrote there is tremendously important, and today we only have the ability to grasp a little part of what Avram Avinu is trying to tell us there. The main lesson is that God created the world using the Hebrew letters of the alphabet. This Baruch Fleischman has been an interesting dive into the SEFER YETZIRAH brought to us by Rabbi Yaakov Kronenberg.